You just checked your phone. You didn't decide to. Your hand moved before your brain finished the thought. That's not a bad habit. That's a 50,000-year-old habit wearing a very thin disguise. You are running ancient software on modern hardware. Your body thinks it's still out there, scanning the grass for movement. But the real answer is far stranger than a simple bad habit. You're not addicted to your phone. You're addicted to information about your environment because for most of human history, missing information got you killed. Your personality, the parts you think make you uniquely you, might actually be strategies your ancestors perfected long before language existed. Let's count 7 of them. First, you crave salt, sugar, and fat more than any other flavors. For nearly 200,000 years, calories were scarce and unpredictable. A fatty piece of meat wasn't a treat, it was a jackpot. Your brain rewarded that jackpot hard, flooding you with dopamine so you'd remember exactly where to find it again. Evolutionary physiologist Randolph Nesse has spent decades studying this exact mismatch, showing how appetites shaped by scarcity now collide with a world of constant abundance most of human history never knew. Your ancestors could gorge safely because famine always followed to balance it out. You can't. The famine never comes. Only the craving does, every single day, with no season to switch it off. Second, you gossip, more than you'd like to admit, and so does everyone you know. It feels petty, almost shameful. It isn't a flaw. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar has argued that gossip was one of the most important survival tools early humans ever developed, a kind of social glue that held small groups together long before writing existed. Before background checks, before any paper trail, gossip was how a group tracked who could be trusted and who couldn't. Who would you share meat with? Who would you trust to watch your child? Gossip answered that, quietly, around every fire. You're not being petty in that group chat. You're running quality control on your social world, exactly like your ancestors did. Third, you flinch at sudden movement before you even register what it was. Your heart rate spikes before you know what startled you. That's not clumsiness. That's a threat detection system built for a world with far more predators than deadlines. Reacting a half-second late back then didn't mean an awkward moment. It meant not reacting again, ever. Evolution kept the twitchy ones alive and quietly filtered out the calm, slow-to-react ones. You are, quite literally, descended from the jumpy. Fourth, you form tight friend groups, usually somewhere between 5 and 15 people, no matter how many acquaintances surround you online or in real life. Dunbar's research explains this too, describing social circles that cap out at surprisingly small numbers even in cities of millions. You might know hundreds of names, but the people you'd actually call at 3 a.m. barely change from what your ancestors had. Your ancestors lived in bands this size for almost their entire existence, because coordinating trust among more people than that was nearly impossible without writing. Your brain never rebuilt itself for crowds. It still runs on band-size math. Fifth, you feel exhausted after a day of nothing but talking to people. That seems backwards, since you barely moved. But you did move, constantly, just not with your body. Reading tone, reading faces, tracking who's angry and who's allied is metabolically expensive work. A misread could once cost you the entire group, and the group meant food, protection, and survival. So your brain still treats social exhaustion as real exhaustion, because for most of history, it was. Sixth, you hoard, even in small ways. A drawer of expired coupons you'll never use. A pantry stocked with more than you'll ever eat. This isn't clutter. And it isn't a flaw. It's a leftover instinct from seasons of real scarcity, when storing extra wasn't excessive. It was the only thing standing between your family and a hungry winter with nothing left. Your pantry remembers a famine your body never actually lived through, but still prepares for anyway. Seventh, you tell stories, constantly, even about nothing important. You replay an argument for hours, perfecting the comeback you never said out loud. Why? Because storytelling was how early humans passed down everything that mattered long before writing existed, where danger lived, which berries healed and which ones killed. A tribe with better stories survived longer than a tribe with better memory alone, because stories spread faster and stuck harder in minds that never lived through the danger themselves. You're not rambling when you retell your day for the 3rd time. You're doing exactly what kept your ancestors alive around every fire. Here's the twist. None of these habits are flaws you need to fix. They're not signs that something is wrong with you, and they're not evidence of weak willpower. They're proof that something worked, over and over, for thousands of generations, under conditions harsher than almost anything you'll ever face. Every flinch, every craving, every late-night scroll through someone else's life is a message from someone who came before you, quietly saying, "This worked, keep it, don't lose it." You didn't earn these instincts. You inherited a system that already passed every test it was ever given, stacked up across an almost unimaginable number of survival decisions, stretching back further than any written history could record. But the world these instincts were built for is gone. The predators are gone. For most of you, the famine is gone. Bands of 15 have been replaced by cities of millions. The software never got the memo. It's still running the same code, just aimed at new targets. The instinct that once tracked lions now tracks notifications. The instinct that once stored food for winter now stockpiles things you'll never use. The gossip that once protected a small band now spreads through comment sections at a scale no ancestor could have imagined. So the next time you catch yourself reaching for your phone without meaning to, or gossiping about someone you barely know, or feeling strangely tired after a day of pure conversation, don't call it a weakness. Don't call it laziness or a personal failing you need to fix with the right app. Call it what it actually is. A signal from deep inside your biology, still trying to keep you safe in a world that stopped needing most of that protection a long time ago. Your ancestors would recognize nothing about your city, your job, or the glowing rectangle in your pocket. But they would recognize the feeling behind every one of these habits instantly, because it's the exact same feeling that once kept them alive. You didn't choose these habits. You inherited them, the same way you inherited your eye color. Knowing where they came from doesn't make them disappear, but it does make them easier to forgive in yourself and easier to work with instead of against. Tonight, when you catch yourself checking your phone one more time before bed, remember this. You're not weak. You're ancient. And your hand still moves before your brain finishes the thought, because somewhere, a very old part of you is still watching the grass for movement.